Well, hello folks, welcome back to our ETS2 career mode save. But today we have got a chatty episode. We are going to be talking about the future of ETS2, given what has been announced today by SCS, which is very, very exciting and very, very cool. Perhaps not announced today, I think it was announced a few days ago, but I've seen it today. We are going to be doing a little drive from Badajoz, is that how you say it? To Ciudad in the middle of Spain. It's a very short drive. It's going to take about 3 hours in game, and we'll take that time to have a nice chat about this topic because there is lots and lots to talk about, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Where are they going to go in the future with ETS2? Right, let's have a look at the journey first of all. So we are a little bit to the east of Badajoz, if I'm saying that wrong, apologies. And we're going to be taking this road here. We've never been on this road, which is kind of nice, to Ciudad. I thought that was the place which had that, like the city that was miles in the sort of on top of the rock with the huge kind of archway that you could kind of travel under, which looks absolutely mad. It looks like something from Lord of the Rings. It's not that place, but I'm pretty sure it sounds something similar to that. I had it as one of my screensavers, you know, the way they put the random screensavers up, and I thought, what is this place? And it was a real place in Spain, which was utterly mad because this archway was so high, and then you had the streets right at the top. Crazy times. Right, let's get in the truck, and let's start this drive, folks. So we're going to get out of here. This will be, picking up yet another of our unvisited cities in Spain. So we are working towards an achievement with this. I forget what we're on at the minute. I don't think Toast remembers either. Toast's our dog, if you're interested. Is this... Yeah, that is correct. I thought this was like a one-way bit of road. It was like a dual carriageway with the other carriageway on the other side, but that's not the case, thankfully. Right, so we've got a nice big journey ahead of us. I'm excited about this one because I really do like the subject of kind of where ETS2 is going, and there has been an exciting development in all of this. So, right, is it... I'm a little bit confused with all these roads about. Am I okay to come on this side? No. I was going on the wrong side of the road. There we go. So we can just kind of drive on, and away we go. Another beautiful day for it. It is about 4:15 on Sunday afternoon. We might well need to take a sleep at some point because we don't really have, well, we don't have a lot of energy, we don't have a lot of fuel, and we don't have a lot of light left potentially. So all of those reasons might mean that a sleep might be an effective thing to do. Right, so let's think about the future of ETS2. So I think it's an interesting one because this game has been around since 2012, right? Started out with the base game, and then we started having DLCs added to expand the map out. And now we're in a situation where the map is pretty darn expanded. The vast majority of Europe is covered by this map. And so the question is in my mind, what next? So let's go through what we know already is coming. So we know that Nordic Horizons is on the way, and probably not a million miles away either. That one I am epically looking forward to. I think this might be a place to stop, sleep, and then come back tomorrow, I think, before we get into that. So I think we'll do that. But yeah, Nordic Horizons is something I am so looking forward to. I think that is going to be an epic thing. And from what I've seen so far, it looks just brilliant. And as a result of that, they're doing some reworks in Scandinavia to make it look sort of, so you don't have a big jump between sort of an older part of the game and then a newer part of the game. It's all going to look really kind of cool. Right, so Where do we... Well, you need to sleep over there. Right, we'll come over here. Right. Just get that in there. So Nordic Horizons is on the way, and we've got that Scandinavian rework that's happening to sort of fit that bit in. And then in the same sort of area, we're going to be seeing Iceland. And again, that is amazing. I absolutely loved the playthrough that Vizilla did using the Iceland DLC. I thought that was just a brilliantly fun DLC. Right, we can park here. There we go. We'll have a little sleep. Right, we are in good shape. It is the Monday morning. Well, Monday, just about morning, 11 a.m. Had a nice sleep over there in that little motel. I'm assuming that's what it is. I stayed there anyway. Couldn't get rid of me. I had breakfast from the little gas and shop there, and we are ready to rock and roll. Yeah, we're coming out this way. So yeah, we got Iceland coming up as well. Now, that was super exciting as well. So there's two very, very different looking places to the rest of the map. I think you'll agree. They are going to be quite dramatic sort of locations, and it's not going to be much about towns. It's going to be all about, you know, the landscape and sort of epic scenery. I think that's what we're all looking forward to with those. So those two are the DLCs that are coming. And so what has also been announced is a rework of the UK. And some people have suggested that rework of the UK has been done now because it would form a route to get to Iceland. So you'd probably need to go through the UK to get to Iceland via ferry or something. Presumably they'll have a few more ways of getting there than just that. But obviously that for me is, being from the UK, is something I'm massively excited about, and one I think most people will get quite excited about, because the game, if you go back there now, it's really old looking and tired, and the opportunities that you have with the UK landscape and the historic buildings that we've got there with the new graphics, I think are just mind-blowing. How good might Edinburgh be, for example, if you've got the castle, if you've got some of those amazing locations up there? Could they increase... Ooh, what's that? Was that a thing? That looked like a thing. I think that was a thing. But let's not distract ourselves. Let me know if that was a thing. So I'm really excited about that, and I think being able to drive around your sort of roads where you typically drive around in game is going to be a lot of fun, and just seeing the landmarks that make sense to you. Is that... Oh Christ, no! I thought there was another one there and I almost went off the cliff. What is this? Oh, it's a river. Rio Guadagno, or Guadagno. So that was exciting, but that left a little bit of the map in that area which had not been filled. And we've just had an announcement, and there's a little bit of a video on YouTube for a map expansion in Ireland. Now, map expansion, it's not clear to me what that means exactly. Is that going to be a small expansion when they do the UK rework? Or is that going to be a DLC? Or is that going to be something that just gets added into the game at some point? What do you think? Have you seen anything on that? Because I could not work that out, in all honesty. But it is a map expansion, and so Ireland is now being done. And so you look at the rest of what's there in terms of Europe and think, well, what could they do next? And there are some, I think, quite obvious things, and then I think there's some less obvious things, and I want to get your thoughts on those things. I want to start just with the potential for DLCs, and I think the obvious one is the one that never happened, was Russia. And I'm not quite sure what Russia was going to contain. I think Ukraine was going to be in there as well. And if it wasn't, it certainly should be at some point. But there's also Moldova and Belarus that are not in the game as yet. So I know certainly there are reasons for that, which relate to the war. But I would love to see those things included, because I know very little about those places, and being able to drive around them I think would be rather cool. So that would be nice. I think once that's all sorted out, oh, that is a thing down there, but I think that is not a real hidden road there. So that would be very, very nice to be able to do that and drive around Russia. But then there's some other places that haven't been fully explored, and one of those, which is technically Europe, is Turkey. We've got a little bit, the nubbin of Turkey, but there is a huge expanse of Turkey that still remains to be filled, so as part of something in the future, and I can see that being a DLC in itself. I don't think people would have problems with that, because it is technically Europe, and likewise with Russia, it's part Asia, part Europe. It's this kind of middle ground, because they're such massive countries. By the way, I do like this little town I'm going through. It seems like somewhere that is pretty out of the way, though. So then, is there anything else that we could do? Well, one of the other things I thought about was the islands. There are a lot of European islands which are not yet in the game, and those are all the way around Europe. So thinking about things like the Faroe Islands, that's not in the game at the minute. It might be introduced, I'm not sure whether that would be the case. But then you've got the likes of Mallorca, Minorca, Ibiza. Those are all not in the game. You've got Svalbard. Potentially you could go up there. Malta, Cyprus. Could they do something with those? Could they add those in as a way to get in as another sort of addition to the game? That would be rather cool, I think. One thing I thought there was, is there a way to actually make the maps a little bit more detailed for those? So you go there, but you've got a little bit more space to drive around, and you have a little bit more detail and a few more roads. It would. I don't know how that would work, but maybe it's something they might think about. But then I guess if you're thinking outside of that, what else have you got? You've got stuff that isn't Europe. And I know when I've mentioned this before, people have been quite adamant that they do not want ETS2 to be taking in parts of the world which are not Europe. But what about those places which are kind of gateways into Europe? Maybe the likes of Morocco or something like Northern Africa. Would that be okay or not? Here we are in Ciudad Real. Looks a very pretty place, I have to say, on a very hot day. Beautiful white stone buildings. Look at that with their classic red roof. Very, very nice looking place. Just 39 minutes to go. We have chatted all the way here. I haven't even got to where I wanted to go to. But yeah, so what would people feel about that? Kazakhstan, some of the Asian places, the Middle East. Because some of those places would be epic to drive around. Just in terms of the difference that you'd have from elsewhere. I mean, others have said they'd bring that, once they get to the end of it, they might make ETS3, but I just don't see the point in that. Surely there would have to be some reason for making that some sort of fundamental change to the game, rather than just kind of restarting it just with slightly better graphics. So I'm not convinced about that. That would be a good idea. So I think there's definitely places to expand in the map, but what about the places to rework? We're seeing a rework to some of the to Scandinavia, which is rather cool. But do you think we will see maybe a rework to Going East DLC, which is very, very sparse with the amount of stuff in it? And we could have a load more sort of towns and cities in there. And that's a really pretty place. Poland and all of those places around there. There's some really nice old like buildings and stuff there, and some great history to dive into. So that's definitely a possibility, and maybe France as well could do with a bit of an upgrade. And I think for the same reasons, I think you could make that absolutely gorgeous with the current set of graphics. So what do you think? What do you think of these things that they're going to do? How do you think they're going to expand on what we've got there? Where do you think it ends? Do you think it ends at all, or can they just keep going? And then you've got these addition of things like project coaches, which I think is an epic idea. But you've also got the sort of similar DLC that's been brought out in, or will be brought out in ATS, where you can drive a Ford around the map. So could they do something similar, sort of have those two ideas crossing over between games? I mean, that would feel to me like a sensible thing to do. Miguel Tuera, that is a good name. So I think, yeah, those are the places I think I didn't actually mention the Benelux rework, which is another one which I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So there is lots that they're doing already, and I think there's lots that they can do. But I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. What are your kind of hot takes on this topic? What do you think will be the kind of surprise thing they do, if at all? Or do you think they're going to stick very regimented with Europe, and it's not going to be, we're not going to get surprises, we're just going to get the stuff that we want? And if you did get a surprise, well, how disappointed would you be if they decided to introduce Morocco into the map? Right, we're here. We're going to do a 40 XP reverse. Oh, look at that. So can we can't go around the back. That's a shame. So I think this should be quite straightforward, in as much as we literally just got to... Can we go down there at all? I don't think there's a way to turn round. Right, let's give it a go. There's nothing coming. Oh, it's just there. I can see it. Yeah, there you go. That's much better. I can see the route in there now. Yeah, so yeah, let me know your thoughts on where this is going, and what is acceptable to include as a map, and what just needs to be left alone. Love to get your thoughts on that. I'm going to do have some similar questions when I do possibly my next ATS video, because I think it is a pretty important set of questions. Right, there we go. And we are in, folks. Done and in. Let me know your thoughts on all of that stuff, because I'm really fascinated to hear. It's going to be a bit of a short one today, but, well, it's probably not going to be that short, because we've chatted our way through it. I think probably about 20 minutes. Got some good XP there, working our way towards becoming a legend. I don't need to work there, I'm already there, folks. So let me know your thoughts. And also, I guess along those sort of lines, I didn't talk about trailer packs and things like that. What would you like to see there as well? Love to get your thoughts on that. There's a few other things that have been announced recently, which we'll talk about in future videos, but I wanted to focus on these things, with Ireland being mentioned. Watch the YouTube video, it looks amazing. They've coupled it with some very cool Irish music, so it just looks epic. Anyway, folks, as always, leave me your thoughts down below. I want to hear about what you think on this topic. If you have enjoyed this, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.